Hello, and welcome to the Focusing Way podcast, available on iTunes and Stitcher. I'm your host, David Battistella. I just wanted to share a little bit today about something I'm working on that I'm calling focusing-oriented conversation. Focusing-oriented conversation came to be with a focusing partner of mine. There were times when there was just too much, and many things needed to be verbalized or talked through in order to get enough space to go beneath the surface and get to what was happening underneath. This also can be known as story. But how do we honor story and let it have its place in focusing? I suggested that by setting aside some focusing time, we could use that time to hold space, listen, and have respectful conversation. Focusing language could enter the conversation or not, but it was an important step in process. We wanted to bring all the qualities of inner relationship focusing to a conversation. I had found that sometimes early on in the focusing process, a lot of body feelings brings a need to express many ideas that are firing all at once as focusing begins to open up new possibilities and the body begins to communicate now that it's being listened to. I think it's quite common as you delve further into your inner relationship focusing work. So we set aside some time that was used as kind of conversational interactive focusing, and it was very helpful to both parties. Sometimes it's just nice to talk in a focusing way, and that is what focusing-oriented conversation is. It wasn't a formal focusing session, but it could sometimes help get over certain humps that arise from time to time. Then, you could get back to your regular focusing and sense freshly into what you're feeling. If it feels and sounds right to you, then I could suggest you try it. It's a work in progress for me, and a discovery into a style of focusing with inner relationship at its core. You can even do it one way, while you're in a conversation with someone else. It's a really nice way to cultivate self and presence. It's also a really nice way to introduce focusing to people who are curious about the experience, but not quite ready to dive into full-blown focusing sessions. Maybe they just want to talk a bit about what's happening with them. Of course, this can obviously lead to focusing if it feels right, but it can also act as a more intermediate step toward more formal focusing. You've been listening to the Focusing Way podcast, available on iTunes and Stitcher. I'm your host, David Battistella.